story about cancer.
Yeah. Like how did you realize it?
Yeah. So I started to have changes in my bowel movements like 6 months or so before I actually took steps to go to my GP. So instead of going to the toilet once, I would start going 4, 5, 6 times sometimes. And feeling like every time I was going, I wasn't done. And like never really feeling like you've emptied your bowels in a sense. So that was one thing. And then a few weeks after, I started to have a sharp pain in my left side of my tummy that would come and go. But nothing that would come every hour. It was just like once every few days. It was just like sharp for like a minute and then it stops. And so at that stage, I wasn't too worried. I thought it was just maybe something I ate or whatever. And then the last thing that started to happen was blood. So I remember sitting on my sofa last summer, and you can edit that out because it's a bit gross, but that's the reality of it. Farting or trying to fart, and instead shat myself, and blood was what I shat, right? And I was like, what just happened, right? So at first I wasn't sure, is that blood? Like, it couldn't be blood, right? It's crazy. It couldn't be blood. So I thought, is that because I ate beetroot salad and maybe I'm allergic to it? And honestly, I just couldn't believe it was blood. And I couldn't smell the iron kind of out of it. And I just didn't feel like, but again, it happened again a week after. And this time I could smell the iron, right? Like the typical smell of blood. And I was like, oh, fuck. So then I knew it was serious. So I called my GP, went to her. And at first she was like, well, it sounds like hemorrhoids and stuff like that. I was like, I'm pretty sure it's not, because it's not the same quantity of blood. But so she put a finger up there to make sure everything was okay there. I was like, yeah, it's not hemorrhoids. So therefore, I'm gonna refer you for a colonoscopy straight away because there's a bit of blood. You need to be seen straight away. And I think I got the colonoscopy 2 or 3 weeks after. So I don't know, have you ever got a colonoscopy done?
Not yet, but I'm at an age, but I must. I'm avoiding.
Yeah, don't. The hard part is the before. So they just give you those things to drink to make you go, and that's kind of the disgusting part. And then, so I went to the hospital, waiting for my turn. Then you go into this kind of the theater, really. In Ireland, at least, they sedate you through the IV line, but some people fall asleep, some people don't. Apparently, the younger you are, the less likely to fall asleep. So I wasn't asleep. So there was a nurse on my side. There was the screen where you could see what the surgeon could see or what the doctor could see. And he started the procedure, and within 2 minutes, the mood in the room was really, really chatty, having a good time. Doctor was like, well, based on what you said, it's probably Crohn's disease or something like that. Honestly, chill. So I was really chilled. I was like, yeah, that's probably it. 2 minutes after insertion, I could see on the screen this big blob bleeding straight away. And I knew what it was. I knew it was cancer. I had read about my symptoms, and I knew that was a possibility, albeit extremely unlikely. In my head, it wasn't. I read about it, and the mood in the room changed like that. Like there was no laughs anymore. There was no chatty. There was nothing. And I remember the first thing the doctor told me. He looked at me and he said, "Don't worry, it's very treatable." Before saying cancer, but I knew what it was. So came back to sit on the bed, recovering from it. He went all the way up my colon to check if there was no other tumors. And there was nothing else. So there was no other polyps, which is the little growth that will start in your colon and could turn cancerous. There was none others. So essentially I got one polyp that turned into a tumor. They called my wife. She came in. I told her, I was so shocked. I was really, really bad. Like for the first 24 hours after, the doctor asked us to come to his. He said, look, I don't need to I'm going to order a biopsy, but I'm so sure it's cancer that even if the biopsy comes back negative, I'll order another biopsy because it's just textbook tumor. And he said, yeah, I'm going to refer you straight away, and we take it from there. And that's how I discovered I had colon cancer. So then the next step were referral to the specialist who do like colon cancer every day, like bowel stuff, bowel cancer, like a stomach cancer, shit like that. The next step was to know how big it was and where exactly it was. So then I got to meet my surgeon, who would be my surgeon. And she did a rectoscopy this time, which is not sedated, just literally, she said, take this, the nurse will put that up your ass, and within 10 minutes, you're gonna go to the toilet, and after that, I'll inspect you, because I wanna know exactly where the tumor is. And so, yeah, rectoscopy, she then realized how far it was up there. I was like, okay, ma'am.
Like, facing cancer, that's the least of your problems.
Honestly, I'm not, I don't care about those things. I can talk about it. And even after, I don't mind it. So it never really bothered me. So she needed to know exactly where it was, because if it was in my rectum, that would have been very bad news, because they'd have to remove my rectum. That means a permanent bag, right? A permanent shit bag until the rest of your life. So it wasn't, I got lucky, it was slightly higher up at the intersection of the colon and the rectum. And it wasn't too big. It didn't seem to have spread beyond the colon, which is the other bad thing. Like, it starts spreading in the lymph nodes and other organs, and then you're basically dead. So that they decided to go to surgery, and within a week or two after that was like surgery time. There still was a risk that the surgery wouldn't go super well, that I'd have to have a colonoscopy bag. And I remember before surgery in the morning, I met the stoma nurse. That's how they call it, like stoma, where she was like, okay, which side do you want the bag on? I was like, I thought I wouldn't have a bag. I was like, well, okay, yeah, sorry, but in case it doesn't go well, which side do you want to go? Do you want it on? And okay, let me see with your underwear, how will that fit? Okay, and then she marked my belly on the spot where the hole would be if surgery wouldn't go well and the surgeon had to put a bag on. So yeah, that scared me a bit. But anyway, went through it, woke up high as a kite on morphine, and surgeon came to me and she said that everything went really well, that they removed like about 10 centimeters of my colon, as well as 56 lymph nodes, which I didn't know about, but lymph nodes are all around your digestive system attached to your colon. And that's the first thing that goes cancerous after the tumor spreads. So they removed 56 around to check each of them individually to see if there's cancer spread. And the surgeon at the time didn't know whether it had spread, but she said, from what I've seen, it doesn't seem to be. So it's good news. And then a few days after, they called me to say, we've tested all the lymph nodes, there's no cancer there. So essentially with the surgery, they removed all the cancer. And 3 days after surgery, I got home, and then within a week, I was being able to bring Robin to school and just being normal. And then I did a bit of chemo, but tablet form, not IV, just to be sure, to remove anything else that could be there, even though they were pretty sure there was none. And the final check I got was a CT scan a few weeks ago, where they said there's nothing, all is clear. So I'm officially without cancer for almost a year now.
Did you think of death?
Yeah, of course I did. The first 24 hours I did. But I think the only time I cried about it, or I felt extremely sad about it, was I didn't want Robin to grow up without a dad. So that's what I thought about. And I didn't want my wife to have to raise her without me, without someone. I didn't really think of me, to be honest, that much. I didn't feel sorry for myself. I felt more like, okay, God damn it, I don't want Robin to be without a dad, right? Like, that was my main focus. But then once I knew the plan, once I knew exactly what was planned, once I knew that the medical team was taking it very seriously, once I knew exactly what would happen, I was so ready. I couldn't wait for the surgery. I was ready to fucking go. Like, no problem. Let's do it. Let's fight. There was no feeling sorry then. Just 24 hours of shit, but then it was all right.